Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lucy and I share videos on the topic of long COVID, chronic fatigue syndrome and mind-body approaches that can help with those conditions. So today's video, I wanted to talk about doubt. It's going to be a quick video. I just wanted to talk about how important it is to be mindful of doubt that might come up for you when you are recovering, when you are having a bad day. And I think this is one of the biggest challenges around getting better. So just to begin, I'm not a medical professional. This isn't medical or mental health advice. I'm just sharing things based on my own experience and things that have helped me. So have you ever been in the position where your symptoms are worse, or you are trying the same thing and it's not working, and that feeling of doubt starts to creep in, and you start to get thoughts like, this isn't working for me, something is wrong with me, something is wrong that we haven't found out about yet, you know, I probably need more medical tests, I need to start doing some research online. And there's a myriad of different things that might pop into our minds that lead to a series of actions, or it might lead to us feeling really disappointed, feeling deflated, feeling down, maybe feeling anxious because you want to get your life back, you don't want to be unwell, and it can be very anxiety provoking to feel like you're stuck. So there's a lot of different emotions that can come as a result of that initial doubt that you might experience. And so one of the problems, I think, with doubt is that the internet is, whilst it's a really great tool and it helps people with these conditions stay connected to other people and to find information, it's also not a good place to go when you are experiencing doubt and when you start to do some research and some Googling, because especially if you're Googling a symptom, often the results can be really awful. And I think that goes for any symptom. I'm pretty sure you could lead to something online saying that this could cause death if you Google any symptom and you look for long enough, and you probably don't even need to look for that long. So naturally that's going to make us even more anxious, or we can get really hyper focused on all of this research, and often the more we research, the more we feel we need to do more research, because it's often complicated stuff that we're looking at. And we can get into this web where we were trying something and now we're trying something else, or where we were trying something but we've stopped being consistent with it because this doubt came over us, and a few days ago when that doubt came, we stopped doing all of the things that we were doing before. So I think the first really important thing to think about is tracking when you feel doubtful, and just noticing that when you feel doubt, you can say, this is one part of me that feels doubtful about, whether that's doubt to do with recovery, whether it's doubt to do with an approach, whether it's doubt about ever getting better, or whatever the doubt is about. If you notice it, and notice that one part of you is feeling that way. I mean, it might be more than one part of you, but it's probably not all of you. So that can just be helpful in terms of having a bit of perspective on it and noticing that this is part of a cycle that can feed back into strong emotions, which might also feed back into symptoms. So when you notice doubt, if you can notice it sooner, or know what to do with that doubt sooner, you're less likely going to abandon the approach that you were using, or spend hours researching, or have a few days of really intense, difficult emotions as a result. If you're not aware of the doubt, or it sort of takes over, and before you know it, days have passed and your week has been impacted by this doubt. It's going to be harder to sort of act quickly or change before all of that impact has been made. So if on a regular basis you're noticing that you feel doubtful about your recovery or doubtful about a specific approach, think about what you're looking at online and what comments or posts you might be reading or what articles you might be reading and who you're speaking to on a regular basis. Because unfortunately, a lot of online groups have posts that pop up with really fear-inducing comments about people feeling really awful as a result of their symptoms. If you're already feeling a little bit doubtful or you have the propensity to feel doubtful, then reading that is definitely not going to help. So notice what things you're reading on a regular basis and try to maybe leave any groups that have a very negative outlook or that are fear-inducing around symptoms. Think about the conversations that you might have with other people. Do you have family members or friends who begin to panic or get anxious themselves when you talk about a symptom getting worse? You know, do they start to worry about you and fuss over you and ask you to call the doctor and want to research it themselves? Think about those conversations and whether they're helpful, whether you could explain to that person that reacting like that is impacting how you feel emotionally because it induces fear or induces a feeling of not being in control of the situation. Another thing about doubt, I suppose, is maybe doubt can be good in some circumstances. It's good to be skeptical about certain things. And if, for instance, you've used the same approach for a long time, like a year or two, and it's not helping, then it's okay to doubt that approach. It might not be the approach that's the problem. It might be how you're implementing the approach or that you need to change something about it. And by saying that, I'm not saying it's your fault that you're not doing it right, because none of this is a tick box, like you do it right or you don't do it right. Different things help different people in different ways. And unfortunately, sometimes people can feel really responsible for their recovery and for their day-to-day routine around doing things that are helpful. And I really don't think it's good for people to feel too responsible about that, because you're in such a difficult situation as it is. So having high expectations of yourself to do everything perfectly or to see all of your own blind spots is not realistic. Everyone is human. No one's going to get things right all of the time. But sometimes there's something called the sunken cost fallacy, where if you've put in a lot of energy, time, money already, you feel very committed to that specific approach and you might want to keep trying that approach. And so it's good just to be aware of this by asking yourself, am I continuing to do this because I feel really committed to it, given all of this time and energy I've already put in? Or has it helped me at some stages, in which case maybe it is helpful and I just need to keep going and I need to figure out a way that's going to help me use this approach. So I know it's challenging to experience doubt, and last week I put up a video about negative thinking, and so some of these tools can be used with doubt, because essentially when we experience doubt we might get a thought like, I'm never going to get better, or this isn't working for me. We start to have thoughts that might be less helpful in that situation. From an IFS perspective, we don't really name thoughts as negative or unhelpful. Those are valid thoughts that a part of you is having. If you find an IFS approach helpful then coming to that thought with some self-compassion and some self-energy that feels grounded and compassionate and stable and curious can be very helpful, because essentially a part of us that feels doubt is probably just trying to protect us in some way. So it might be a part that has experienced the disappointment of trying something and failing before, and it's scared of that happening again, and therefore it brings up this feeling of doubt because it's scared of trying things for fear of failure. Or it might be a part that really wants to get everything right and is perfectionistic. And so when you experience a setback or a symptom after feeling good for a while, it might see that in a black and white way, where it thinks, oh, all of a sudden I'm failing now, I'm not doing well, this is a bad sign, and generalize that one symptom and take meaning from that symptom, where maybe the symptom or the fact that you're having a bad day is just a sign that you need to pay attention to what's going on with your internal experience. What emotions are you feeling? Are there any parts that are struggling at the moment or having a hard time? So I suppose this is just a short video today on doubt, and I wanted to share that it is so normal to have doubt during this process. I had doubt plenty of times on a regular basis, and one of the things that I had to focus on when I was recovering was managing that doubt, where it didn't take a big hold on me and it didn't affect my day-to-day practices of checking in with myself and doing parts work and reflecting on emotions, reflecting on how I felt, reflecting on any anxiety around activities. So you don't always need to believe that that doubt and that feeling of doubt means that things aren't working. The doubt might be there as a way to protect you, and it might be something that you need to work on as part of the process. So hopefully this video has been helpful. Feel free to comment below if you notice that doubt is one of the challenges that you face in your recovery journey. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. If you'd like to join the Facebook group, there's a link in the description below. And I will see you in the next video.